A message from 27J Schools Superintendent Dr. Chris Fiedler.
Greetings, 27J students, families, and staff. It's Chris Fiedler, Superintendent of Schools, coming to you from my basement, working remotely, as I think you all know. Let me begin by saying how much we miss all of you. We hope this message finds you all healthy and as well as can be expected in this unprecedented time in our history. We're grateful for your continued grace and understanding as we prepare to rise up to the opportunity of supporting students and families in ways we couldn't have imagined a month ago. Thank you. A few other quick thank yous come immediately to mind as I reflect on the past 2 weeks. Thank you to Tony Jorstad, Director of Nutrition Services, and his team members and other district staff members as they have served over 15,000 meals to our students with Pecan and Overland Trail Middle Schools as distribution centers. Thank you to Lonnie Martinez, Director of Facilities, his team members, and our building head custodians and their teams for deep cleaning all of our school and district buildings. Thank you to Will Pierce, Chief Academic Officer, his student achievement team, and our building principals and school teams as they have prepared our remote assured learning plan. When we closed schools on Thursday evening, March 12th, we originally believed we were headed into an early and extended spring break. A lot has changed in 2 weeks. As we come out of spring break this week, we are prepared to launch our remote assured learning plan through at least April 17th. As quickly as things are changing, I think we can all agree that remote learning is likely to continue beyond April 17th. As we head into our scheduled normal spring break on Friday, March 20th, I directed leaders to pause and prepare over break for the opportunity that begins this week and beyond. Specifically, I asked that they establish new schedules and routines with their own families, prepare a space at home to work remotely, and in general, prepare for the new and different opportunities to serve and lead learning in direct partnership with our families. I'd like to share with you what you can expect this week and next week as we launch our remote assured learning plan. We have 2 essential goals associated with our plan. The first is to regularly check in with students and their families with a focus on relationships and continued connection. This will enable 27J to connect families to resources for basic health, welfare, and social and emotional needs. Our second goal is to provide students with learning experiences designed to reinforce previously taught skills or the recovery of skills and learning that have been missed during the first 3 quarters of the school year. There will be no expectations for students to receive and/or acquire new content. Learning experiences and supports will be dependent on the individual family context and designed to serve individual student needs. Technology required and non-technology required options will be made available. Students will have the opportunity to improve grades, recover assignments, and recover credits toward graduation without the concern of final grades being negatively impacted. What to expect from us this week. Tomorrow, Wednesday, school staff will be virtually planning and preparing for the 27J remote assured learning plan and student check-in needs assessment process. Thursday is the primary call day for elementary and middle school students. School staff members will be contacting elementary and middle school families on Thursday. Friday is the primary call day for high school students. School staff members will be contacting high school students and families on Friday. What you can be doing this week at home. I have similar advice for all of you at home that I had for our staff prior to spring break. First, establish new schedules and routines with your families and prepare a space at home to work remotely if you haven't done so already. Students need structure now more than ever. Be prepared to hear from school staff this week and share what your needs are educationally and otherwise when they contact you. Finally, as potentially strange as this may sound, enjoy the opportunity that these changes in our lives present. What to expect next week. Honestly, I expect to return to something that resembles normal in that our teachers and school teams will lead and support learning for our students in partnership with all of you, just in a new and different way. Our teachers and support staff will do what they always do. They'll provide social and emotional support and learning experiences for our students while partnering with our parents and be additional heroes in this amazing story we are living.
Following are answers to the questions you have been asking. Will 27J schools continue remote learning through the end of the school year?
We know that we'll be doing remote learning through April 17th for sure. Honestly, I expect that it could be longer, and it is certainly possible that we could finish the school year remotely and not return to school this year. Many of you have heard the governor talk about it being unlikely that we come back. That decision hasn't been made, but as quickly as things are changing with the pandemic, again, for sure through April 17th, and possibly longer, and there's that possibility that we don't return at all this school year.
What is expected of families without computers or the internet?
The purpose of staff members checking in this week with students and families is to determine what resources are available for students at home. And as I shared earlier, technology required and non-technology required options will be made available to families um, in partnership with our teachers.
What impact will not introducing new content through remote learning have on students attending different districts next year?
Um, we've made the decision to provide students with learning experience designed to reinforce previously taught skills or the recovery of skills and learning that may have been missed during the first 3 quarters of the school year. As I shared earlier, there'll be no expectations for students to receive and or acquire new content. Being candid, we don't want to overburden families with unrealistic expectations in regards to remote learning. We can't begin to imagine all that families are juggling during this time. Being very honest, we don't want to be an additional stress. And in regards to students attending different districts, I assume that came in prior to the governor's order. As you know, all face-to-face learning in Colorado has come to a stop. And we're not the only district, and we're not the only district that's taken an approach to not be putting out new material.
How will 27J schools handle proms and high school graduations?
Our graduations are scheduled throughout the week of May 18th. It's too early to say that they won't occur, but we have advised high school principals to begin thinking about other options in the event they don't happen as scheduled. Virtual graduation ceremonies have been discussed, as well as postponing graduations until the summer months and holding them outdoors. We can't say for sure today. Proms, we have proms scheduled as early as April 11th, which obviously that one has been postponed at a minimum because it's within the stay-at-home order, and as late as May 9th. But I need to be honest and say that I don't think proms will be occurring this year, given what the requirements are around social distancing, even if we were to return to school.
Will the school year be extended since students are missing so much school?
The answer to that is no. The Colorado Department of Education has waived the instructional days and hours requirement for the school year. So we will not be extending the school year out. So we'll follow the same calendar. That third week in May, we'll wrap things up, whether we're back at school or we're continuing to work remotely.
Will 27J be lending Chromebooks to students for remote learning?
Most of you know we launched our One-to-Web initiative in the fall of 2018. So we're 2 years into that initiative. Every student in grades 6 through 12 has a school district issued Chromebook. So we're certainly fortunate in that regard. For elementary students, part of the check-in with families this week is to see what technology needs are at home. Well, we don't have enough Chromebooks for every elementary student. We're hopeful that we can assist those students whose families don't have any device at home at all. And schools will be working on that plan this week.
Concerns around students with special needs and the use of remote learning.
This is certainly a challenge. We recognize that. Our current guidance from the Colorado Department of Education really includes these two basic tenets. One is that we make best efforts to meet students' needs under their individual education plans, given these unique circumstances, and that we hold our student-scheduled IEP meetings virtually. So we will be holding our annual meetings for those students who are on IEPs.
When is 27J schools rolling out remote learning?
As I shared earlier, when we closed schools on Thursday evening, March 12th, we originally believed we were headed into an early and extended spring break. We shared our remote learning plan on Friday, March 20th, and I'm incredibly proud at how quickly our team has put together a plan. We think it's a good one. This past week was spring break. As I shared earlier, I had advised our team to really pause and prepare for remote learning as we begin that this week. And we're excited today to launch our plan this week and beyond.
What are some ideas and strategies that can be implemented to create a good structure for our child's learning?
First and foremost, again, establish and publish and write it down for all to see a routine and schedule for the new normal, because really kids need that routine, and frankly, the adults do too. Have a dedicated learning workspace for you and your students, even if it's an assigned seat at the kitchen or dining room table together. Here at my house, I'm working remotely. My wife is working remotely in her work with Bromley East. 2 of our boys are home, getting ready to launch this next week with their online learning at Mesa and Metro, respectively. And then We have a sixth grader in the district as well, and he's been on a schedule already this week that we put him on, but he'll begin his learning through his teachers at Pecan this week as well. So we've worked really hard to have a consistent space for all of us, and it's certainly a challenge, but we're all on a schedule because it keeps us sane. Would also say be realistic about what school looks like at home. School at home is not school at school. So schedule 3 to 4 hours of academics and activities. Set that time aside. We're not expecting students to be in class all at the same time, although they may schedule some of that. But again, that'll be as available because we just don't know what everyone's schedules are going to look like. But really 3 to 4 hours of academics and activities, make sure kids are getting some physical activity, adults as well, and then staying connected as best you can through virtual platforms. Would also invite you to think about the opportunity we all have to teach life skills at home together. Here at our house, we've cooked together and had more meals together in the last 2 weeks than we probably did in the last 2 years, being really honest. But that's been a lot of fun, crafting together, just all of the things that we wish kids would know, and we sometimes wish schools would teach, but there's a great opportunity to do that at home here in this new schedule. And then I will just close on this question with, I firmly believe that once we get to the other side of this event, and we know that there is another side, other countries are coming out of their peak and beginning to move towards something that looks more normal. So we know that there's an end to this. But I really believe that once we get to the other side of this event, our children will remember, and adults as well, how we interacted with one another far more than any academic lessons that occur between now and our return to school, whether that's this spring or in the fall. So give that some thought, and be certainly open to your thoughts on that via email or phone call.
What resources can parents use to implement curriculum and better understand the lessons being sent home to our child?
And I would simply say that the greatest resource that you have is your student school team, teachers, support staff, and administrators. Again, as we launch this plan, the thing that will look and feel normal is you'll have your teachers and support staff back, albeit either over the phone or virtually or via email. They'll be available to answer questions and help you with curriculum. Again, we launched the One-to-Web for those secondary students 2 years ago. We have a strong online curriculum that you'll have access to. And then for the younger kids, we've got the resources that teachers can share as well online. And again, if it's something as simple as reading to the younger kids, that's important.
What are the Colorado Department of Education updates with regards to accountability, and what should we anticipate?
So notable news from the Colorado Department of Education. CDE has waived the instructional hours and day requirement, which I mentioned earlier, which means no extended school year will end, that third week in May. And then CDE has put both state assessment and accountability on pause. So this means no state assessments this year, no CMAS, no SAT, etc. This one is not CDE related, but we had lots of questions from the high school students around AP exams. So the College Board, who oversees the advanced placement exams, has announced that they will be giving AP exams online this spring. As I understand it, the exams will be they'll be 45 minutes long. They'll be online. Those tests are normally, because they're in person, I think they're a 3-hour exam, but they've got a plan to make that work. And then the other thing that comes to mind as I think through that, students who are enrolled in concurrent enrollment just need to be in touch with your Front Range Community College instructors because they're working on their plans in terms of how they're going to finish things out. But we'll continue to work with them to make that work for you. But I just want to close again by thanking you all for your grace and understanding these past 2 weeks and for your continued grace and understanding as we launch our remote assured learning plan. We're very excited about this opportunity to serve and support you in this new way. And I know that some schools have already been reaching out to students. Get to preview some videos yesterday the principal shared with me that they put together reaching out to kids. And I will be real honest and tell you that each of those made me pretty emotional. It may have shed a tear or more, one or more tear, but just the love and caring from our teaching staff and support staff as they were putting messages out to our students. The resiliency of our students and our staff really are amazing. So we're excited to launch this week. We miss you. We can't wait till we see you again in person whenever that happens. But we're really excited to serve you in this new way and be partners with you and turn learning over to the schools and then support as best we can from the district office. So thanks for hanging in. If you've been with me this whole time, we had about 20 minutes of footage here that I know that our communications team will trim down. But if you're still listening, thanks for hanging in there, and be safe, be healthy. Please adhere to the request to stay home. And just, the more we do that, I think the sooner we come out of this on the other side. So be well, and I look forward to seeing you all in person soon. So take care.